Okay guys, so today I'm going to be instructing you on how to make a regular pentagon. Now you'd think a shape with just one more side than a square would be really easy to make, but in fact it's actually really hard, probably one of the hardest constructions I've ever done. Now it's really difficult because it involves this one thing called Carlisle circles, at least in the method I'm using. Carlisle circles, the actual definition has all this stuff about quadratics, and it's really complicated, but I'm not going to get into that today. For now, Carlisle circles should just be the thing that you make pentagons with. So the first step is straightforward enough. You just make a circle. Now, the radius doesn't matter, but just don't make something that'll take up the whole page, because this construction will eventually take up the whole page. Okay, so I'm just going to turn my paper, and with this, whenever you're doing serious constructing, you're going to want to have a tight compass. Actually, there's a screw on the side that you can tighten with any Phillips head screwdriver, and that'll make it so you have much nicer, neater circles and arcs. So after you've made your circle, you just want to mark the center of your circle. In my case, it's right here. See it? And I'm going to call it O. It's a very good name. Okay. So after that, you're going to want to take your straight edge and make a diameter. Make sure it's through O, otherwise it wouldn't be a diameter. And you're going to want to extend this, especially to the left, because it'll come in handy later. So after you've made your diameter, what we're going to do next is make the perpendicular bisector of our diameter, which I am going to call AB. So if you don't know how to make a perpendicular bisector, all you have to do is just stretch your compass width a little bit past the halfway point, and then you just start at one of the points, doesn't matter which side, and just swipe. Make sure you hold the same length for both times, and then just swipe again. Make sure you get these two intersections here. Okay, and once you have those two intersections, we're going to connect the 2 points. Actually, in this case, it's 3, but most of the time, we only have these 2. Okay, and actually, after we're done doing this, we have a really essential point that we're going to use later. It's up here, and I am going to call it point C. So after we make the perpendicular bisector of AB, we're going to make the perpendicular bisector of AO. That seems a little silly. Why would we do this for a pentagon? But again, you'll see. So we'll do the same thing as last time, just open the compass to a little bit past halfway. We have to guess what halfway is, but I think that's a little past it. And we just do the same thing, swipe. That went a little askew, but swipe. And swipe. Unlike Dora, there is a lot of swiping here. Okay, so then we're going to take those 2 points and connect them. Okay, so you may be curious as to why I did this, but there's a really important point that came out of this. Right here, that's a really important point that I'm going to call point D. So now we actually are going to start to get into the Carlisle circles. The first one of which is centered at point D that I just mentioned, and it goes through point C, right up here. So I'm going to extend my compass to the length of DC or CD, whatever you want to call it, this one. And I'm going to turn my paper to make the circle centered at D with radius of DC. So what points we got out of this circle, the important ones, are this one and this one. Now I'm going to call this one over here E, and this one over here F. Oh, my lead just broke. F. And now the next two circles we're going to make will have the radius of OC with the centers E and F. Okay, so first what you're going to do is extend your compass to the length of OC. And I'm going to start at E first, because first in the alphabet. And just going to turn my paper. That was close. It's almost to the edge of the paper. And I'm going to make circle E. So it's centered at E and has a radius of OC. Yeah, see, it's really close to the paper. Just make sure, remember, don't spread out too much like I did. So next circle we make is a circle with the radius of OC again, but this time it's centered at F. And actually, before we move on to that, we got two really important points from circle E over here. This one and this one. Can't really see their significance right now, but I'm going to go ahead and name them G and H. Okay, so back to the other circle, centered at F. So radius OC, go to F, that's where I put my needle point of the compass, and just turn my paper. Okay. So after that, we actually have all the points that we need for our pentagon. Now the last 2 points we got from circle F right here. And these are these 2 points that intersected with the original circle. I'm going to call them I and J. It's funny how many times I have to sing the alphabet song in my head just to do this construction. So, still, you're like, I don't see a pentagon, where is it? But if you've been paying attention to all the important points I have, you might just see, it's really difficult though, so just watch me do it, see if you got it right. I'm going to connect points G and H. Then I'm going to connect G and I. Then I connect B and I. I connect B and J next. And finally, I connect J and H. Now, all these little points gave us our pentagon, which you can now clearly see. It's hard to see in the beginning, but once you know what you're looking for and clearly label your points, I think that's probably the most important thing you can do if you're beginning at constructions. But after you've done all that, you can see this beautiful little perfect pentagon, this regular pentagon, right here in the middle of the first circle we made. So I hope that was helpful, and, well, have fun.